impressive again today. Before we move on, let's just talk very quickly about the Rudiger situation. Of course, you can't just say pay him what he wants because they're in problems life for any football club. But when you look at the amount it would cost to replace him with a like-for-like player, maybe that's exactly what they should be doing.
Well, they've got to, I think, pay him so he is feeling that he's getting paid what he feels he should be, which is at the upper echelon of the squad. Wherever the highest earners are, I think he sees himself as part of that. Because if you look at in this squad of players you wouldn't want to lose for a number of weeks, a number of games, he'd be one of the first on your list in terms of wanting to keep him in there because his influence. He's aggressive. He sets the tone a lot of the times, and when they need to shut the door at the back, he's normally the one who puts his foot in where it hurts.
How do you play the game then from the player and the agent's perspective? What do they do?
The player that will play the game out of the player's character is, I think he's in a fantastic position, similar to positions to what Callum was in a few years ago when your contracts come running down, but you're an important member of the squad. So, I mean, he's a fantastic player, and Thomas Tuchel will just be wanting to get it done and dusted and signed because he's so important. He's almost irreplaceable in the sense that there's other great centre-halves at the club, but I don't think there's anyone with his aggression and his influence that he seems to have over the team. So he's in a great position.
You make them wait, do you?
Yeah, I think so. I think you got to play the game. I think it's two different parties looking at the game very differently and the situation, and the player and his management team will be having their eyes and they've got their cards close to their chest, and the club will be the same.
Yeah. By the way, there's not many better places in world football to be playing at the moment rather than in West London playing for Chelsea, the champions of Europe.
Text him, let him know. There was a really interesting point as well where he said, Des asked him about the first half, and he said you were dominant in the first half, 70% possession, didn't concede a shot on target. Thomas Tuchel's reply, yeah, we were struggling. That is the standards and the levels at which he's getting this Chelsea team to play. That's a great insight.
Yeah, and that's been the level since he's walked through the door. You have to remember when he came here, the confidence was a little bit shot. The team wasn't functioning as well as and smoothly as it is now. And there was people and characters he had to rebuild in this. It's not just about tactics, there's characters and people that he's had to address. And he's done that remarkably well. And you say the stats we just pulled out there in terms of clean sheets, it's been phenomenal. It's been a great run. They've won the Champions League. They're now the front runners to win the championship here. They're a team that are on the rise, and they're continuing to do that. You think about it, they win the Champions League end of last season. Everyone's going crazy, and it's about the mental state, and it's about the management setting the tone pre-season, day one. Are we going to rest on our laurels and enjoy that moment, or are we going to go again? Is there more to do? And this team look like there's a lot more in them.
What did he say at the beginning of this season? Last season's gone, we press reset, we start from zero, were his exact words. And you see the way that team approached it today, the desire off the ball, the way they all work together. You can see what he's getting them to do. And it's interesting, when he does his interview and he talks about the demand, this is the kind of thing he does, like right positions, the competitiveness. Look at the capacity to get back here from Chilwell, coming inside, not resting on their laurels. That's 3-0 up, by the way. Here, Jorginho reading the play. They're so well drilled, and I think he looks into when he's judging on how well he thinks his team's doing. He looks at every sort of detail and he judges it on that. And like you said, even in the first half, he felt there was improvements. I couldn't see it. I thought it was outstanding performance from everyone. Again, look at the numbers there, Ree.
What they don't do is they don't go on their own. You very rarely see a player coming out of the pack and then going and trying to affect the game by himself. And that sometimes is an ego thing. Oh, I want to look like I'm doing more running, or I want to look like I'm pressing. It's when we're ready to go, we'll go. And then if someone does edge out or something, you see people like Jorginho, Rudiger dragging people back in. And that's leaders, but that's also coming from the coaching team. We said before the game, didn't we, that we don't think wing-backs is the right way for the way their wing-backs play. And we saw it today.
Today it was as clear as day. I mean, Reece James and Ben Chilwell have taken up positions here. He's penetration, he's running in behind, lovely pass here. This is a lovely touch from the forward. He gets lovely connection and grazes the top of the bar. But they were getting in behind. In positions here, look, Reece James, middle of the park, puts the studs on it, drives past Soyuncu, has the composure to throw him off on the floor. And then his player is Chilwell. And then they're both in centre-forward positions. Again, cut back here. Chilwell, lovely, unbelievable save from Schmeichel. And this is what I like as well. Look at the run here where he bends it. That any forward worth their salt and this touch would be absolutely delighted with that little bit of action.
the freedom with which they play is phenomenal. And the fullback position is an interesting one because it's kind of been reinvented the way it's been played now in modern football. We see Cancelo, we see the Liverpool fullbacks over the last couple of years playing more inside at times, but varying their positions. Normally you'd know where the fullbacks are going to be. They're going to be wide, either a bit deep, backing up play, or you get an attacking fullback. Here, they're inside the pitch like you see here. They're finishing off moves. They're staying wide. 2 offside goals there, you see. I mean, it's phenomenal. The fullback position is a beautiful position at the moment. They're controlling games a lot of the time. Most touches sometimes in games, a lot of the time, affecting games with passes, chances being created, and then, like we see, they're getting on the end of things. So the fullback isn't the boring position that it once was when we were growing up, because no one wanted to be a fullback when we were kids.
Fullback was where you went if you weren't good enough to be a centre half or a midfielder or a right. But now it's a position. I mean, I played in front of fullbacks a lot, so I knew how underused they were. You know, your responsibility would be to defend for them. And then listen, I played with the greats, the best, Ashley Cole. You know, and he was the best. Some fullbacks played well within themselves. I think in modern football, the manager puts so much demand and responsibility on them to go and create, make things happen and defend.
It's amazing. You've played for so many years with fullbacks in that traditional way. You think, why were they not? Like, it makes so much sense. There's so much more of a weapon.
If you had a senior fullback who didn't want to run, it put you in front of him, and then they taught themselves through the game. They could finish the game without getting their boots dirty.
Can you name them, please?
No, I wouldn't name
them. But as a fullback, you didn't have to go over the halfway line. You could stay there, you could play a whole game and never go over the halfway line and just be comfortable in your position. The demands now, there's loads of them, but the demands now are very, very different for a fullback. You've got to be able to do every aspect of the game, otherwise you will not be playing for a top team.
He spoke a lot in our build-up about how Chelsea contribute to the goals from all over the pitch, and that's exactly what happened today. Rudiger put them ahead with a fantastic goal.
Yeah, look, it was a well-worked set piece. You know, you see him on the goal line just coming off, I think, as well. Jorginho does well to pin Indeed in, and he gets the free head. Look, you see him there distracting Schmeichel, he's unmarked, and it's just about Chilwell putting into the right area, and that's exactly what he does. Jorginho then gets in and blocks Indeed, who can't then go and attack it in that zonal area, and then look, it's a brilliant header as well, and Schmeichel's got no chance, and they've really exploited it. I know when you said the stat earlier, was it 15 now they've scored from?
Yeah, joint top, I think, with Crystal Palace. So, I mean, imagine you get 15 goals, you know, from different areas. I mean, that's significant. That's why they're such a well-coached side, because, you know, obviously they've got the goals from all the other areas, but 15, you know, on set pieces, that's down to coaching.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, they have a set-piece coach in place to help them with that. And also, Leicester have been really struggling with set pieces, and that showed again there, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they've conceded the most goals from set piece or from headers. So, you know, when you get one that scores a ton and the other team that concede a lot, just feels like you see there, you know, the stat there, you know, that's poor for Brendan Rodgers. Such a well-coached, great manager like Brendan, you would have thought he'd fix it. Plus, Johnny Evans, you know, physically has got a great presence. Amartey's quite tall, and Didi's tall. And you would have thought they would deal with those situations better. So I'm sure Brendan will look at that to address that. Yeah,
and then it was poor again for 2-0, wasn't it? And we didn't see them correct any of their errors.
No, I mean, the balance of the team was wrong today. The midfield two, they go and press. Soumaré can't be in that position. Kante's got the freedom to run at the back three. And you just see it there. That's your midfield two. You can't get in that position in the Premier League. Reece is a great turn on Soumaré. But once he comes inside, look at Kante. But acres of space. The back three, you know, in this end, it's a back five. They'll drop off. At some point, you have to go engage Kante when you get to the edge of the box. That could be Johnny Evans. It could be Amartey. They leave him. And it's a fabulous finish from Kante, who I thought was probably the best player on the pitch from a lot of good ones. But Chelsea were just far too good for Leicester today.
How good was he today, N'Golo Kanté?
It was brilliant. We know how good he is, and I think Owen mentioned it earlier. We know about him defensively and what he does, but attacking-wise as well, he's got that element to his game. He's just the most unselfish player, I think, and anyone would love to have him in a team. If you're an attacking player, like myself, he's the absolute dream as well, because you know he's got your back at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was 2-0, and then came the half-time, and we thought maybe the team talk from Brendan Rodgers might spark some difference in Leicester. We saw it, but then Christian Pulisic made it 3-0.
Well, they did. They played a lot better, made changes. Madison and Iheanacho came on, but, I mean, this goal's ridiculous to concede there. That Chalobah comes out from the back three, plays a simple ball in a straight line. Suunchu had a really, really poor game. See Johnny Evans just leaves Christian Pulisic there, just misses him. You know, whether he freezes or what, but that's where Ziyech is fabulous. Chops. He's so good on that right-hand side, and a good finish from Pulisic. So think for Chelsea, they got Ziyech to come in, yes. Pulisic, then they got Mount, they got Havertz. I mean, they got so many options. It's scary.
It is scary, and as we said many times, they didn't even look like they hit first gear today. Well, I know one person that will be very happy with that performance, and that's the Chelsea boss, his Thomas Tuchel.
Must be delighted with that 3 points and the way they were won as well.
Yeah, I think we played a good game, good away game, and have an excellent result. It's a good mixture.
You could have had a hatful. The linesman was busy in the second half, wasn't he?
Yes, we created a lot of chances and half chances. We're a bit unlucky with the offside decision. That's sometimes it. But like I said before, I'm happy if we create and never stop to create. And was the key. It was we knew we can be strong from first. We need to be strong from first to last minute. This is what we did. I'm happy with the effort and the quality. It was a deserved win.
And particularly the first half was magnificent performance. 70% possession. You allowed 0 shots on the Chelsea goal as well. That's a domination.
Yes, there was a very good first half, and still we were struggling in the last third with our decisions and decision making and the precision. If we were like on the highest level, we could have created even more chances and maybe scored the third one earlier to have a decision very early. If it's 2 goals, anything can happen. You know, if you have like one deflected shot, one set piece, and whole stadium can wake up and momentum can change. But we didn't allow them to come back into the game, and the third one finished it off.
The defence has been so solid, and you've got Tony Rudiger scoring at the other end. I mean, he's been exemplary this season for you, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yes, exclamation mark. He's outstanding from first game until today, and hope it stays like this. Defensive performance is strong as ever, as usual. This is and they deserve the praise for it, because they do a lot of invisible work. They protect each other. They support. They are brave in attacking up front, and we want to be dangerous from set pieces.
And that they were certainly today, and they have been this season. And actually, when you look at this team, he has such a good balance across the team, across the squad as well. We saw that he's made the most number of changes than any other manager, and his players are actually delivering for him, Karen.
They are, and not just that, he's got youth and experience as well. That good mix and blend, and you see that. But they're just, it's scary the players have got out, and to keep chopping and changing. As I said earlier, it's really difficult to get fluidity when you make those changes, but it's effortless for them. They just do it. They are the ones